very like orientated, go getter without creating that balance. So I actually attracted too many feminine men. And the men that actually, but in a way that they
The softer
couldn't,
ones.
yeah, which was beautiful, but they also couldn't hold their emotions, and therefore they can't hold me.
Oof.
Turn the lights down and just put this on. It's right behind you.
Hey, yo, what's happening? And welcome to another episode of TMM, the Media Meltdown, guys. My name is Benson Strax, a.k.a. The Big Fish, a.k.a. Gamchepula Banyabati, host a ghost. And I want to say welcome and shout out to you for always coming through and chilling with us and hearing what we've got to do. We've got a dope episode today, guys. Bit of a switch up. It's no longer just me and Wolf. It's myself, Wolf, a guest, and the rest of the boys. So it's going to be a vibe. But before we move on, you know what it is. TMM_ZA. The Media Meltdown, every platform is all gonna pop up down here, you know. And I think I'll just go around the room and greet, you know. Yeah, Wolf, what's happening?
Like a little bit weird to be sitting on the left of you.
Yeah, in your mind.
But you'll have to, different hands. Nah. It's like I'm back at day one, you know.
Yeah.
But we'll get through it.
100%.
It's always good to be here.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. And then you got the boy NQ, obviously.
Shout out. It's another week.
No
Always good to
pre-workout
be
this
here.
week.
Pre-workout, you can hear it, man.
No pre-workout this week. Maybe next week. But I'm looking fit and I'm ready for today's episode. So yeah, shout out to everyone watching.
Yes, sir. And we also got the big boy, the man behind the cam, the big Shad. Shad, what's doing? What's good? What's happening?
Hey, what's up? What's up? It's your boy Big Shad. We're out here another week. You know what we do?
Yes, sir. It's a vibe. And guys, before we move on and introduce our special guest, guys, we got a quick shout out for Wolf to actually address you guys about Wolf.
So we were fortunate tonight to be blessed by Rockamama's Westville. You can find them in the Westville Mall. They blessed us all with
Kif chow.
decent chow, some of their specials, gave us a whole variety, some chili fries. So I think go check them out. They got a new buy one, get one free on cocktails. 2 cocktails for $100. I mean, where you can't go wrong. 2 Castle Light Draws for $79. I didn't get the times. I would assume it's 5 to 7, but I will find out the details and let you know.
Yes, sir. Shout out to Rockamamas. This episode was proudly sponsored by them. But guys, it's about time we actually introduce the one person that is out here to chill with us and tell us a lot more about what she does and the importance of what she does. Ladies and gentlemen, businesswoman,
Yoga instructor.
Activist for men's health.
Yes.
Darren Scott, ladies and gentlemen.
Thank you. Thank you. I feel so honored to be here and so privileged. I met these guys, so fortunate at a rugby game.
Yeah.
And we got our TV moment at the same
Yes.
time, eh?
We were literally
Don't forget
famous
that we were on Supersport.
for a few minutes. And honestly, like just the energy that was exuding from all of them was like so dynamic and so, I just felt so like
We were
seen and
sober,
heard.
guys.
Yeah. No, they weren't. But it was
Definitely
awesome.
weren't.
So when they told me, they invited me to come here today, I was so excited. It's actually one of my dreams come true right now to be a part of more podcasts, and especially authentic ones like this. So I just want to say thank you for inviting me.
Yeah,
Thank
shout
you
out
for
to
allowing me
you.
to be
Thank
part of
you
the
for coming
team
through.
tonight.
Yeah. It's gonna be fun. You know, but it is June, Men's Health Month, right? Right? Did I get it right? Because I know
Yeah.
Ryan's always
Yes.
waiting for me to just slip up.
No, never.
I'm playing with you,
never.
bro. But yeah, it's. I think it's a very important topic. You know, so obviously you're gonna share a little bit of what you do and how it ties in with this. So I think the best thing to do is let Ryan, because Mr. Hot Topic. Do you have a hot topic today?
I don't. This is the
Then
hot
you
topic.
can lead the way.
This is the hot topic.
Yeah.
So, see, this is a bit of a touchy one for me because unlike some of the modern males in our group here, I am not one who's like in touch with that. You know, like I said last week, you know, my 7-year-old child, there's a 7-year-old Ryan locked away somewhere. That's the last time I was in my feelings, you know. So I come off sometimes as like sharp, blunt,
Masculine.
that's just natural.
Toxic. Narcissist.
Why are you
That's the
sounding like
internet.
my ex-wife?
That's the internet. I know exactly how you feel.
Yes, I'm the poster child for narcissism in a nutshell.
In a nutshell. Yeah,
But
yeah.
I'm trying not to be.
You know, you learn
The ex-wives will disagree with that, but
Yeah.
only one of them watches the show, and she's my friend now, so yeah, we're cool.
Yeah.
And she knows I'm trying.
No, 100%.
So for me, sorry, I know you wanted to jump in there. For me, if I wanted to go on this journey of self-discovery now and get in touch with that boy,
Yeah, Mike.
And yeah, sorry. So if I wanted to get in touch with this inner child again and find the feelings that these women are saying I need to, and
All right.
what's the first step? What does someone do? Like if they feel like the weight of the world is on their shoulders every day, they're in a rut. To them, waking up, going to work, grinding, doing the same monotonous thing over and over. How do they get out of that? How do they take that first step?
So I personally believe that it's realizing it's okay and it's human and it's a part of the human experience, but it's really coming back to that place of compassion and gentleness to say, it's actually okay. Like I'm feeling like this now, but let me see myself. Like let me actually not overthink the mind too much, not get into story, but instead what is this bringing up in my body and how do I go there? And if you just sit with the discomfort of like, okay, cool, this feels like really hard right now, what is happening in my life, but let me just sit here and not run or not like avoid the situation or not freeze, because those are all coping mechanisms. But if you can just sit and feel, that's probably actually the greatest thing that anyone can do. And it sounds so simple, but it's like
I
it's
cry in
sitting.
like kiddies movies
Yeah.
and stuff, especially the family orientated ones. Like I'm not even gonna lie.
Yeah.
Like Ferdinand, that one with the bull. I've seen that thing a million times. I got 3 boys. You know how many times I've seen that movie? And I'm not gonna lie to you, I cry every single time.
But you know, that's
single
really
time.
healthy because there's a part of that movie that is bringing up something within you that needs to be released. And it's going into a nice, it's going to an inner child moment, you know? And then you're seeing something and then you're actually letting it go and you're crying. And also you're showing, it's your son, hey? Like you're showing your son that it's okay to be soft. It's okay to cry.
Yeah, they've gotten to the point now when we're watching those sad cartoon ones that they look at me and not the TV to see if I'm starting to shed tears, because to them, seeing me, I'm a hard man.
So
you
they
know,
cover
at
your
home.
eyes. They cover your eyes.
I'm
this
hard
time.
to them, bro, you know. And then when they see dad in that vulnerable state, you know, I never saw my dad cry until my grand passed away.
Yeah.
And obviously that was his mom. And when I saw him cry, I cried because, like, I mean,
Yeah.
that's my buddy. Like,
It's not easy seeing
he's
a man cry.
Hey, dude, I tell you what.
Yeah, and like that's the thing. Like I'm busy thinking. Like obviously with the work that you do, right? I have this thing in my head, and this question is like, because it's such a complex place to be, especially if it's a daily thing, because people are different. There's different situations and so on and so forth. Like, how do you get to a point of saying, this is what I want to do. This is what I want to touch on. This is where I want to be. This is how I'm going to change the world. Like, how did you get to that point?
So I feel like I arrived at that point when I realized that, because normally what you need to heal within yourself, you end up teaching. And so my whole journey of helping women connect to their sensuality, their femininity, and really helping women get out of that masculine, like that overdrive of the hustle culture, and to connect back to their bodies and to softness. I only teach what I've lived.
They still got to keep a normal job, though.
Yeah. So you can. Like, this is what is amazing. Like, I'll teach. So, I mean, ultimately, it's like helping hyper-independent women deepen their relationships and love and life.
Because they sometimes become detached from themselves because they focused on work. Is that what the angle you're going?
Yeah. But it's mainly to allow yourself to be devoured by life in general. So it's not losing yourself, and I call it not losing your queendom. You know, you can be this super badass, sensual CEO, but at the same time, if anything happens in your life, you don't lose your stability.
You
you don't lose your why. like, for example, like, what is my mission? I'm here to do this. But at the same time, it's being flexible, that if allowing love to come in, allowing things to change if they need to. Yeah.
And with women, like these days, like we've had a couple of conversations, and I think we see it like a lot on the internet, how like nowadays women are totally different from back then, which is look, you expect it. We're evolving as humans, the human race and stuff like that. But what I see a lot is that boss babe culture, right? That I miss independent culture. What it's done is it's kind of taken people away from the idea of, you know, getting married, settling down. Like you say, a lot of women are very masculine, which is also very tough for the guy in a household, because obviously if she's masculine, like you said earlier, if she's masculine and she's going home to a dude, it, you know, there's bound to be a clash, you know.
Yeah.
So my thing is like, why do you think women are there though now? Like, you know, aside from they're having to battle at work to be number one and try get themselves to the top, you know, of the ladder. What is it though? What is there anything like aside from what we see on the surface?
Yeah, I mean, I love this topic because it goes really deep. So how we are brought up in a society that has a lot of masculine systems, and I mean masculine in a way that is very controlled, and it's very much on purpose to make you feel disconnected to yourself. So it's like you wake up when you grow up and you're told have a good job or have a proper job. You know, your self-worth is based on your output, like with the money that you make or the job that you have. And actually, like, your self-worth is determined by how kind you are as a being, like how much you love, how much you allow yourself to be loved. So it's like such a big topic, because that's why a lot of women are being like almost manipulated or persuade, to move into these corporate environments or into these spaces to feel worthy, but actually at the same time they're burning themselves out. They're working 9-to-5 jobs, even more hours, and that's actually not how the body is meant to be run.
So you say,
But men do that, though.
yeah, but like that's what I want to ask. Is that, so do you think that? So do you agree with the ideology that, you know, as a woman, yes, you can go to work, but you need to come back home and still be, you know? So is it that environment that's crazy now that you've put it out like that? Now that I'm thinking about it, but do you think that's why there's so much infidelity as well in relationships? Is that women come home and like we were saying, clash with their men and try to find a more masculine man outside of the marriage?
Yeah, so it's super interesting, because I've just seen with like the clients that I work with, if you are a woman that's connected to your femininity, which actually ultimately means connecting to your softness, connecting to your body, you're automatically going to attract more of a masculine man, because the polarity is going to shift. But for me, like a couple of years ago, I was very much in my masculine, you know, very like orientated, go-getter, without creating that balance. So I actually attracted too many feminine men. And the men that actually, but in a way that they
The softer
couldn't,
ones.
yeah, which was beautiful, but they also couldn't hold their emotions, and therefore they can't hold me.
Oof.
So like that's a big one, because
That's a big one.
yeah.
What
Never
about
heard it
guys
put like
with
that
no
either.
emotions?
So for example, like, so I mean, it's all a beautiful mirror. The woman that a man, so basically like a man that the woman attracts, so a man that comes into my field, is ultimately a mirror of the protection that I have towards myself. So the more that I am protecting my own emotions,
And
like
the mirror
being there
doesn't
for
lie,
me,
eh?
and the mirror doesn't lie, then I'm going to attract a man that will show up for me, protect me, love me. But before, when
Sounds like a man from the 80s.
You're very old man.
yeah.
Yeah. What do you mean? I'm from the 80s, you
Yeah,
okay?
very old man. Very old man. All right.
You're saying it like the 80s was a long time ago.
Yeah, it was a long time ago. long time ago. Yeah, Enki, what you got to say there, right?
No. I was off topic altogether. That's cool.
Okay.
Yeah.
What were you about to tell
I was
us?
thinking about Grease Lightning, dude. You're around that time? You saw Grease Lightning come out?
I shit you not. No, I wasn't around when it came out, but I watched it. And funny enough, when I was in matric, the drama teacher wanted me to play Danny in the play at school, and I was too cool. I tuned him north, right? Imagine that. No ways. Because the first team rugby players singing songs on the stage at school.
Not happening.
In the early 2000s, never, bro. No chance, my bro.
All right,
But I
yeah.
do regret it because Grease was one of my favorite movies.
Was it?
Yeah,
it's
and
a good movie.
I can recite
good
those.
movie.
Yeah.
I
It's a
can
good movie.
sing
It's a good
those
movie.
words off by heart. My mom used to have the LP, bro. We used to play that shit in the pauses. Yeah, telling you.
My thing is though with what you're saying. So are you saying? Do you agree with the idea that the woman should be in the house?
No.
No, because
Well,
Okay.
I think it depends on what you want. I think it's your life, and I think that whatever you choose for yourself. I mean, I know that there's a lot of women that's their legacy. Like that's their mission is to be able to be a home bird and to be in service within that.
Raising the kids.
Raising the kids. And I mean, I'm very for that if that's what they want. And I know that there's also some women that got so much ambition, so much like fire in their belly of what they want to do in their life, that maybe their legacy is completely something different. So I feel like it's when two people come together and just support your dreams and you have that level of communication within your partner, you can create that beautiful balance of protection from him and leadership whilst the woman is so connected into her body and to intuition. Like that's two people being in service for one another ultimately.
But I also, when it comes to communication, I know NQ's got something to say too. I saw him there. He's just slow, so I beat him to the mark.
No. I took my time. I take my time. I wait.
So, what I wanted to say is, with communication, women often think emotionally and men think logically. So when there's a problem, man comes up with a solution. The woman thinks, it's got a 60% chance pass and 40% chance fail. I don't know. And how do you break that barrier to get a decent communication?
That's actually a really good question because
If both people are stubborn, and just butting heads.
that's where I feel like ultimately, this is just from my perspective, but women have a big responsibility in actually, because the woman invite the man to rise, right? So for example, let's just say and men are amazing at this, they're so devotion to logic and to solution based, whereas actually at the end of the day, the woman just wants to be heard, wants to be seen, wants to be acknowledged. So if I go, for example, like I'll go to my dad or I'll go to someone, they will, because they love me so much and it's in their part of their primal nature, their primal energy. Of course, they are the hunters. They want to come and help me straight away. But then it takes me self-responsibility to say, I'm like, this is what I'm going through. I don't need anything from you now. I just need you to know that I just need you to tell me that you love me and let's go and breathe together or let's go and like cuddle one another.
Yeah, it sounds
And
like you came from a very emotionally open family. That was not my bringing.
Yeah, where were you at NQ there?
My point was just in terms of selecting your partner. I think the most important thing is selecting someone that you respect, because I think if you're coming from that point, if you respect each other, you could be completely wrong. You could mess up, but if the way that you'll address it will be more inclusive and making them feel seen in whatever happens, and it's a learning curve rather than pointing each other out on it. I think a lot of the time, more than anything, it's just finding people that you respect. Being with a partner that respects you, and that you respect. And
100%.
that way, we're all able to be within our energy. I'm able to be a man. You're able to be a woman. I can lead. You trust me to lead. I trust you to nurture.
Yeah.
And you in your element, I'm in mine, because we respect each other.
She needs to be the wind in your sails and not
Exactly.
the anchor holding you
And
at the dock. Yeah,
Yes.
true story, dude.
And I
No,
think,
but I love that.
and I think a lot of the thing that we do is when selecting our partners, we don't select people that respect us and that we respect. We go off other.
But
yeah.
yeah,
Amen. I love that.
like with that said, NQ, like I feel like sometimes as well, it's also it gets beyond the respecting.
But
You know what I
respect
mean?
is a responsibility.
Because compromise is
Yeah.
also very, very critical.
It's very important.
Very, very important
Yeah.
to compromise, you know? And
But
that's
when one party is compromising and the
the
other's
other.
not,
That's the problem.
and it always seems to be us men that have
Oh,
to do the compromising.
And that's where I wanted to go, is like I feel like just like that like just because we built the way we built, of course we're gonna get to that point because she's
We
gonna
kn-
be
and we know what
emotional
we
about
want,
the
yeah.
compromising. You know? I'll be like, yo, this shouldn't, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because as well, like a lot of podcasts are out here that are talking about these topics, you know. And the one thing that I picked up as well is that women don't like have the idea that, okay, he's telling me don't go out with those girls, don't do this. That on the internet's already controlling this and that. But that's the compromising I'm talking about. I'm with so and so. He doesn't want me to wear miniskirts when I go out because he knows this guy's catcalling and so on and so forth. And
it's not the girl we don't trust, it's the other
it's
bras.
the other bras, you know what I
Because
mean?
we know what we were like back in those days.
But you know what I think? I think the people that are doing this, you are aware of what you're doing. You
Of
know,
course.
you are, but you opt not to because you don't respect your partner.
called
That's what it
peacocking.
comes
You're
back
doing
to.
it for a
you know,
reason.
Yeah.
you know what's expected of you,
Yeah.
but you won't do it because you don't respect them enough to follow those.
And that's why I'm saying
Yeah.
the dynamic of compromise is so important, because if you don't combine that with what you guys are saying, communication and respect and so on and so forth, because there's things that you may want to do, but they just don't work out for the person that you have chosen to kind of like,
Yeah.
you know, build a path with and walk the path with, or whatever the case may be. And that's why I want to go into with what you're doing and a lot of the clients that you get, you know, what are some of the things that you think women struggle with when it comes to accepting the fact that, look, I'm in a situation with someone, like for instance, even abuse. Some people stay even in an
Yeah.
abusive relationship. What would you be saying to someone who's in a situation that they want to get out of? Because as men, I know we want to be advocates for men, but men can be douchebags.
Yeah.
We know that for a fact.
Yeah,
you
I'm
know?
a retired douche.
Yeah, you're retired douchebag.
Sometimes he comes out of retirement and I drink black label.
But he's coming at you. He's coming at you with the walking stick and everything. He can't do anything. So with that, like how do you kind of convince or get your person, get the client to understand that, look, it's you that also needs to kind of look in the mirror.
Definitely. I mean, that's actually the answer there, because so I would invite them, you know, we go quite deep. We go into relationship wounds, attachment styles. We go into inner child healing. So like they'll be able to tell me their situation and then like ask them the right questions so that they can go deeper into this pattern. Because ultimately her life will be mirroring all of her belief systems, whether it's around money, around men. I mean, everything is showing you all the signs of where your mind is at.
Yeah.
So if you're calling in, or if you attracting certain men that are void or they ghost or they don't treat you well, there's a pattern in you that is like, and it feels familiar for them because maybe they've been brought up in that environment.
Daddy issues, we like those.
Yeah, no, we don't.
You can speak for yourself.
Oh, well.
City boys are up.
Broccoli boys. Yeah.
But the
I
main
like that
thing,
nickname actually. Sorry, that was cool. Broccoli Boys, I like that. Clothing range.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking for your channel as well. Sorry. Let's carry on.
no, but the main thing is to hold a space of compassion. Like, all I'm doing is creating a safe container for them to reveal themselves and for them to be curious and for them to lean in further in their like self-mastery. Like, to look at you and to feel you, it's one of the most difficult degrees that we will ever have because we are afraid of the mirror. But then when you can sit in the front of the mirror and being like, I've got you, it's okay, like this wound is coming up and I'm attracting this situation. Okay, why? And then with compassion, we'll go into that and then we'll reprogram it and change the belief. And then as soon as we go and change the belief, the wound, and we give her a different narrative, like for example, a different belief system that men are healing, that I am attracting healthy relationships, you are going to start creating that reality for yourself. Because everything that you say, you are speaking into your life. Like the words I'm saying now are spells. That's why in school it's called spelling, you know?
Yeah.
And then you speak either abundance into your life by speaking abundantly, or you speak more lack by saying, I'm not enough, this isn't enough, etc. And then you manifest two different lives. So
Manifesting.
it's like,
I do believe in manifesting.
Yeah.
I've manifested some decent life achievements.
Before you-
I'm not going to mention them, but
Which wolf
I've
was this?
manifested some things.
Which wolf was this? The retired one?
No,
the current one.
Get your mind out the gutter, bro. Jeez, I don't think about this all the time. You know?
I worry with you. I worry.
See.
I worry. And so, like, I get that, but I want to ask you something. Who do you think, like, in this day, what do you think in this day and age is causing women to be, and I'm going to say this from a place of love, but why are women so evil? And this is coming from a man's perspective, you know, like last week we had a video that we reviewed. Women have changed, bro, and some of the stuff that you're hearing is evil, bro. Like, so we had a video that we watched last week, right? And the situation was the guy had a seizure or a stroke. What was it?
A seizure.
He had a seizure. He went to the hospital.
While the paramedics and stuff were there, she's professing her love to him.
Yeah.
He goes to hospital, gets discharged that same night, goes back to his palsy, and what does he find?
He finds her with her ex, right?
Okay.
That's
Yeah.
evil, right?
Yeah.
You've just confessed your love to me on my deathbed, bruh. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
And
yeah.
then you go
Maybe
and
she
do
thought.
something.
hear you,
Maybe she
yeah.
thought he was gonna die.
Yeah, and that's why I say it's evil. You know what I mean? I'm not saying men aren't evil because
Supposed to give
Men
it
do some
7
crazy
working
stuff.
days, guys, when you move on.
men do some crazy stuff as well. But like, why do you think women have gone that direction? You know, some people we'd say social media. Some of us just say the workspace. You know, but why do you think women have gone into a space where they no longer? It feels like women are no longer fighting for what they have or love. You know, like a lot of women you've seen on the internet.
Yeah.
Oh, I want a man that makes 2 million a year, type of thing. You know what I mean? It's no longer because
Not in this
of
country.
chivalry and all that stuff. You know what I mean? Why do you
Yeah.
think women have gone that direction? Though?
So, I mean, thank you for sharing that because that is a very real thing. And I could feel that's a very real thing in your reality as
Yeah.
well, that I want to acknowledge. And at the same time, there's just so much noise in the internet. Like the things that we watch, we actually have to be so careful what we watch because that plays with our mind. And then
Yeah.
guess what? Like this is when we digest food, right? You digest it in your belly, but you're also digesting every single reel or video that you watch. And then what we do is we digest that information and then that instantly goes into our brain, affecting our own belief system. So like, for example, like in your perception, if you would almost see that women are evil, it's because almost like that has been, that's your belief system, you know, like for example. But like, if we had to look at, there's two ways of looking at the world, to be honest. There's looking at the reality of how things are changing,
Logically,
but it's
like
also
we do.
logically, yeah. And it's also like logically seeing also the not great parts and actually being really honest with ourselves, you know,
Yeah,
because we can't.
100%.
That's spiritual bypassing. That's bypassing reality. But then you can also see, wow, like women are actually empowering themselves, and women are taking more responsibility for themselves because that they can hold a greater amount of space for men to rise as well.
But don't you think those are some of the things, that independence, that fighting for my own thing? Don't you think that's what's killing the home nowadays? Because let's go back to basics. Basics, it would be man comes home, but they both come back from work, type of thing, you know. But now there's all these things that she's doing on the side. Aren't those things kind of killing the household? You know what I mean? Like
I've
the
got a
general
more
household.
basic answer in like a nutshell.
I'm not asking you.
I know, but from my look, this is from
No, I wanna-
this is from an old man's point of view. Wisdom, Kazi, wisdom. The world is not the same anymore.
100%.
Because in the days when women relied on men, life was hard. They needed us. Now, because of equality and women now being allowed in the workplace and voting and, just being a general human.
Which should be allowed.
Yes,
Because
naturally,
if it's human
but
rights,
now
we're all humans.
Yeah.
Men and
women have
women.
evolved to be non-dependent. Yes, you still get those lazy ones.
No ambition.
No, it's an inside joke.
All right.
You still get those ones who rely on the man.
Yeah.
But like you get gold diggers, you get different tiers, man. The gold diggers, the ones who want sugar daddies. You get the ones who want to suck the life out of you. You get the vindictive ones, I don't mean to make this comical. Maybe that's just the way I deal with my getting into my emotions, because I have dealt with some women that are like that, and it does happen. I'm not going to cry. I can. Should I turn it on? And Q's like, yes, get those clicks, do it, bro.
Yes.
I'll become a meme on the internet, not a chance, bro.
Yeah.
But like, it's like they go to grade school. Like you get different grades on like how we're going to manipulate men. And I say manipulate because they use that emotion against us, because some of us, like myself, who grew up not in an emotional based household, we can't deal with that. So we rather switch off and just not compensate. What's the word we were talking about now? You can't remember?
Can't remember.
But also,
That's it. Yeah.
What's the word?
Say it.
Compromise.
Compromise. There we go. Come on, Chad. Okay, sorry.
Get a mark.
Compromise. And that's why men compromise so much, because we don't want to go into our feelings. How do we get
because
into our feelings?
yeah, I mean, we actually haven't really been taught how to even feel. So
Yeah,
because
if I cried, my dad would say, "You want something to cry about?"
yeah, but also like how we've been brought up is to focus on very much mindset approach to life. Like it's very much it's very much orientated from the mind, like that's masculine systems and logic, whereas we were taught to actually neglect the body. Because if we do neglect the body, then guess what? Like we can't access our power. We can't access our own ancient intelligence. And so that's like the plan from society, from this conditioning. And the more that you can connect with yourself and like actually feel, and I tell you right now, like the most powerful man and woman in the room is when they don't even have to say anything, but they feel they're so connected to their body. And like they don't even have to say anything. Their presence alone speaks louder than anything else. And that's my ultimate thing to teach women, actually. And I mean, I work with a lot of men, and the men come to me and they cry. And it's because I create a safe space, which not a lot of women do sometimes, for them to reveal themselves.
Sure. So refreshing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Personally,
from a woman,
can I add
wow.
to that? Can I add to that? Personally, as someone that is very aware of themselves, and
He's the emotional one out of the four.
very reflective as well.
Don't cry.
Kazi, I cried a lot of the Lati.
I'm just playing with you, bro.
I still find that a lot of the time women don't have the capacity to maybe even just hear a man that is saying, listen, I don't have it together right now, and I'm speaking to you for your assurance.
Yeah.
Yeah. And as someone who is very confident in communicating that, I've also encountered when I do that, it's also understanding that a lot of people haven't learned how to deal with it, how to communicate.
Teach me, sensei.
How to receive people, So
Definitely.
that's also a thing that you need to realize when you're on this path of like self-improvement, like learning more about yourself, is understanding that you're going to be interacting with people that aren't there.
Yeah.
And you have to be okay with them like receiving you in that way because you're confident in who you are, you know.
Definitely.
So I think
I'm
that's,
confident in who I am, but
Yeah.
you're not gonna find
So-
me in my
I
feelings.
hear you.
right?
Yeah.
so that's like that bridge, you know, when
Yeah.
you're at a place where you're confident to communicate about it, but you're still getting the result that is expected, and that's by men to say, don't open up to your woman.
Yeah.
They will use it against it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And a lot of us-
they weaponize it.
Maybe every one of us have had an instance where we've opened up about something and that we've seen our status in terms of respect in our relationships dip a little bit
Yeah.
after that.
They
you
don't
know.
want to see the cracks in our armor.
Exactly. And once that, and then it just gets lower the more you open up to yourself, and,
that's-
you get better results when you are not available.
And that's
Yeah.
why I used that particular term, evil. You know what I mean? Because, bro, some of the stuff that you see happen because of situations like that, like what you've just said as well, NQ. You know, I was watching something and this chick was like, "Hey, I don't want a man who's gonna build with me. I want a man that's already ready." You know, and for us to come across that on the internet on a daily basis, we start questioning. Like, I'm terrible now. Like,
Yeah.
I'm terrible. Remember the one night out, I was like, I'll never marry. You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
yeah. Let's not.
You know, but
I'm
yeah,
sure,
yeah.
I'm sure. She'll know. She'll know.
But what I'm trying to get at is, it's so frustrating that sometimes as men, we've gotten, in fact, not sometimes, most of the time now, guys are coming out of pocket. You know what I mean? They're coming out of things that you would generally be like, oh, I'll just bite the bullet. type of
Yeah.
thing.
Maybe even going into debt just to impress the girl
Exactly. You
Yeah.
know what I mean? And for me,
because she wants Astro Pay.
what I want to know
That's
from
for you in the hood, because the white girls don't drink that stuff.
I'm not buying
Yeah, but what-
anybody Astro pays, no matter how much money I'm making.
But what are they attracting, bro? You should also make your choices.
No, but
you
yeah,
choose.
100%. That's very true. We can't
So,
really
so
blame it on one thing.
important.
But I want to know from you, like, working with both men and women, right? And because you're a person that taps into who they really are, because I think for you to find the truth, you kind of have to get to
Yeah.
know them. It's not a one session thing.
No.
You know, who's more compassionate, like, out of the two? Like, when that frustration is there from you, like, is it men, is it women? And yeah, I just want to know that, because I think for me that's my biggest problem is sometimes I just feel like people. That's why I use the
Yeah.
term again, evil, because I just feel like people just are like, I don't care. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I'll leave that in the dirt, hurt, like that, you know? So, like,
So-
from your experience, yeah.
So I personally, like, I have seen both parties, men and women, be really compassionate. They really have, because at the same time, it's all about how you hold the space. Okay, so I'll come in and just hold the container that they'll instantly feel safe. But something that I would say, just with regards to men and women, is that a question you can ask them is, how can I best support you right now? So, like, let's just say if a man had to come in and express something, his feelings, instead of a woman, because oftentimes this is a shadow part of a woman. It was we want to either manipulate, they used to either use seduction to get what they want, or they there was one more thing that I was going to say. Yeah, or they fix. They go around trying and fix men, but actually, no one needs fixing. Men do not need fixing. Okay,
And I like my cracks.
and it's
They make me funny.
and they really don't. Like, that's why instead of a woman, like, instantly, let's just say the man comes and it's an emotional, just like speaking his emotions, instantly we also want to fix. But if we just say, my love, like, how best can I support you this week? What do you need from me? And the main thing is, what do you need from me? Because everything is coming back from unmet needs. And that stems from wounds. So if he says, oh,
7-year-old Ryan's waiting for this. He's waiting, bro. He's like at that door waiting for someone to open. I don't even know where
Why are
the
you
key is.
tearing up?
I'm not tearing up, bro.
Like, it's really cool, because you could just, if you just read, and like NQ said, like, really read the body language, and actually, I mean, ultimately, if you can expand your
He's
capacity.
a pro at body language. Just you should have seen this. Like, he was like a savant at the petrol station. I'm not going into
Yeah.
details, but this one knows things that people shouldn't know.
Yeah. No, he's
No,
so
he's
gifted.
like,
yeah.
I was blown away. Really.
Yeah.
Like, I was humbled right there.
Don't tell them. Don't tell them. I don't want to be detected.
Yeah.
No.
That's why I called you sensei now. You must teach me, master.
Teach me all you know.
Yeah.
Yeah. But you know, like, so ultimately it comes true leadership, whether it's feminine, masculine leadership, it doesn't actually matter. It's not about control. It's not even about connection. It's really about capacity. And it's about the capacity that you hold within your own self. So if I can sit here with my pain, with my mess, and not outsourcing from my partner, because it's actually mine to deal with. Yes, he can support me, but if I can just sit
To have a
here.
woman say that, I'm
sitting
my
here, I'm
man,
just
I'm
like-
so glad this is on camera. Hey?
It's like,
Yo.
But to be honest, like, it takes a lot of work. Like this, for me, it's keep like self-reflecting, self-processing. It's not even bypassing. It's going to the depths of my pain to seeing
Realizing
where
you're the pilot
where
of
do
your
I
own
do
airplane.
this? Where do I do this that's also dirty? Where do I do this that's not great? How do I choose a better way of being? So, and then what happens is that if we just focus on ourselves, then I will attract a man. Yes, you'll get people that will show you different aspects of yourself, your belief systems around men. But then eventually, after doing so much work on yourself, you will attract a very masculine man who's got so much capacity within himself, so he feels whole, I feel whole. And then we come together and we're actually like, it's just so much peace, there's so much depth, there's so much wholeness. But it's because one has taken the responsibility to actually go there. But that's only if I want that type of relationship. Like, I want to feel so peaceful. I want to have no arguments. I want to have, yes, a man that will put everything on the table and say, Darren.
I'm just hearing green flags, guys. She's not in my league. I only go for red flags.
yeah, right.
Maybe an amber.
I
on a
call
good
it an
day.
addiction.
Maybe an amber.
But it is actually, to be honest, it's an addiction to go towards that because we get the thrill and the thrive. And
I
I've
think
been
I'm
there,
just
like,
so
it's
used
like-
to living in that fight or flight
Yes.
scenario.
always
like,
play-
I thrust myself into those situations, you know, the proverbial out of the frying pan and into the fire, you know,
Yeah.
from one to the other.
And also that also could be bringing up like avoidant and anxious attachment as well. I mean, that plays havoc in our lives. Yeah.
What?
It plays havoc.
No,
Like,
what?
attachment and avoidance styles.
Attachment.
So we have four main
Yeah.
relationship attachment styles. We've got anxious, avoidant, secure, and disorganized.
I'm probably the avoidant one. Like when there's conflict, I'll just go
And
sit-
disorganized, you all four.
I'll just go sit in the bedroom and be like, okay.
You all four, right? I know.
I get nar for fighting, so like,
Yeah.
which is weird because I'm an Aries and like I'm a fire
Yeah, you're a fire
star
sign.
sign. Like it's there, but I medicate, so it like kind of puts the
That's
flames
really
to,
good, yeah.
to an ember. I have to. Like when I grew up, there was no such thing as ADHD, but my younger brother's got ADHD. I probably would have had it if it was a thing back in the early 90s.
So is it really a thing if you...
No, look, it was a thing, but
Yeah.
it wasn't like doctors were saying this guy's got ADHD. The teachers would be like, "Oh, you immature, you got to stay behind," you know. Until
Special
you-
class type vibes?
Not
or-
special class, guys. With a brain like this, are you mad?
Just
I was the
double-checking,
class. I was the class clown from class
I
one.
thought you were going to say class captain
all
because
the
I'm
way-
worried.
Hey, I was on the student representative council, so you can
Kazi.
suck it, Kazi. Just because I didn't mean I didn't have any goals, my friend.
Yeah, I'm hearing you out.
Yeah. See, now you took me off track there. You're trying to throw
sorry,
me
bro.
some
I'm sorry,
curveballs
but
here.
you're making me laugh.
We're talking about the anxious avoidant.
Oh
Yeah.
yes.
Yes.
So actually, the disorganized.
Disorganized,
The
yes.
disorganized. Thank you. One is a mixture of anxious and avoidant. That is the most challenging and difficult one to heal. And I say this because I was very disorganized. So what happens is that you seek love, you want love, but when it comes to you and it gets too close, you run away like crazy. Okay, and then you become an avoidant, and then it can be this confusion. Even you confuse yourself because you're like, flip, I'm wanting love, but then if it gets too close, I get scared. And it's because actually, ultimately, there's a fear of intimacy, or there's a fear of being close and connection and actually vulnerable. Because when you do open up your heart and you speak your truth, people
it can get crushed.
It can, yeah. But at the same time, like,
I remember that once.
yeah, and
A
that's
long time ago.
hurtful. Yeah, like it really is. But at the same time, it's what a gift to even be vulnerable, but to also let go of the attachment of that whatever happens, happens. Like now, for example, like I would be so vulnerable, like to people, and that's my boundary, actually. So if I'm so vulnerable to them and I'm really opening up my heart, if they leave, okay, they're not meant to be for me. If they stay, amazing. And then that's literally my boundary. So as soon as I just keep speaking my truth, people that are aligned to my soul and that are deep resonance with me, they're going to stay. Everyone that is not going to serve me is just going to leave. And they can drop like this. And that's okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Can we have an amen on 3? 1, 2, 3. Amen.
Amen.
Amen. You got us preaching here, bud.
Real time.
Have you ever had a client come back and say, it didn't work, money back type vibes? Have you ever had anything like that? Like someone will come back and just not have positive feedback with the communication you guys had when you were trying to help them?
No, so actually I've never had someone ask a refund, or, they can't, because once they make the investment, they make it.
Yeah.
But it's like, for them, it's also not my responsibility for their results.
You can give the advice, they got to implement.
So I
Either you take it or you don't.
Yeah, so I create the container, I create the safety nets. I will show up the best that I can in my ability, but I can't feel their pain for them. I can't go and talk to their parents, because that's their responsibility. So ultimately, as long as I show up and they show up, amazing.
Yeah.
But it's like my work in particular is really for the people that want deep transformation work. It's like a whole identity shift of leaning into a woman that they've always become, and they're also like, it makes them a little bit scared, because it's exciting, but it's scary to dive into that. So I'm not really for the mentor that wants a very superficial affirmations type of thing. It's like, no, we're going to go and change your life, like in all ways. We're going to increase the amount of love that you're going to receive from your partner. You're going to have a healthy relationship, amount of peace. I mean, ultimately, we all want peace in our bodies and our minds.
Yeah.
Bringing in wealth, abundance, but also abundance.
Yeah, now we're talking.
Yeah.
Bring in wealth, because
It
that's
really
a luxury
is.
in modern day society.
100%. And then, like, when you're not okay, is it okay for you to actually sit down with these people? Have you ever had like those situations where you're like, today I'm just not,
Yeah.
They help you.
Yeah.
Plenty of times. But it's like, so I choose, when I get up that day and I'm like, and let's just say I'm really not feeling great, but I'm processing a lot. Let's just say things have been happening in my world. I have to do the practices that I would teach them to regulate myself. So I'll go and do the yoga. I'll go and meditate. Also, it's amazing because the more that you do this work, the quicker, and I call this resiliency, it's like the quicker that you're able to be triggered or activated by something, but then how quick can you get back to home base within yourself? How can I come back to my center, knowing that everything is fine, I'm okay, I'm going to show up for my client. And it's amazing because like you're holding your process whilst creating space and holding a clear channel for them to like reveal themselves.
You found your why.
That is a huge capacity like that, but I'm constantly being stretched. So it's like, and that's why I love working with even more clients that want to go deeper and deeper, because I get stretched at the same time and they get stretched. But, ultimately, like also, it's telling me that it's okay, that I'm not okay, and I'll show up and I'll even maybe declare on the call,
Yeah.
I mean, I'll just say, oh, I'm so sorry, like this. I won't share too much.
Yeah.
But ultimately, it's not even about me. It's about me doing the work behind the scenes and then showing up for my work.
100%.
Because also, like, I can't let the mood determine my day.
Yeah,
It's like, look, when you work for yourself, you're like, you can't just wake up in the morning. I have to keep saying, why am I doing this? What is my purpose? Even though I haven't seen the external, even though when we haven't seen the external results yet, okay, for
It's not
example, the
instant
goals.
gratification.
Yeah. But
I think that's your why. Yeah, your
Yes.
why has to be strong.
the why. And
Yeah.
it's
That's what I said, yeah.
celebrating.
Purpose, yeah.
Find out why.
Yeah, and celebrating every single day the internal shifts. For example, today, or my word, I did something in this morning, internal shift. No one saw it. No one, my dad, no one in my family, no one on social media. They don't need to know. But behind the scenes, I am celebrating that for myself.
Yeah.
And then guess what? That's a ripple effect into then the external world, because we have to celebrate the internal shifts to become a magnet of the life that we ultimately desire. It's always, that's
what is
manifestation
it
for
that
you.
you
Manifestation.
That's
yeah,
manifestation, yeah.
What do you desire?
Me,
Yeah, what's your end goal?
my end goal, I feel like I've reached my end goal, to be honest, because I feel inner peace. I feel love towards myself, and I actually don't need anything outside of me to know that I'm worthy. I don't, in this moment, I'm exactly where I need to be. And I know that from this place, if I've already found home within myself, life can only get better.
Get better.
And then if it gets challenging, that's okay, because guess what? I've got the tools. And I've got faith. I've got God. I've got my family. I've got my friends to rely on.
Yeah.
So actually, at the end of the day, it's we don't have to worry.
We worry too much.
We
as
worry
human
too
beings.
much, and
Yeah,
you get
yeah.
into the mind, and then when you just sit back, open up your body, and just surrender and trust, that's where you become so magnetic. I became so much more magnetic by doing less, but by focusing more on my energy,
Yeah.
focusing on my thoughts.
So by magnetic, you mean you're now pulling people into your
Feel.
aura? Or
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's
That energy.
I
goes,
can attest for that.
Of course you can.
No,
Yeah.
guys, it's
You
it's
felt
a
the
real
aura
thing.
when you arrived here.
I always feel the aura.
Yeah,
always.
it's like Super Saiyan when they got those goggles on. They can see the energy levels.
But you know
Yeah.
what?
Scouter.
That's an actual representation. That's why when certain people walk into a room, you can feel their presence. There's some people that have zero aura. You basically look through them. Certain people, it's not an attraction thing. It's not how they look, but it's a way that
I
they
know what it
move.
feels like to command a room when you walk into it.
No, real thing.
No, I'm
real
serious, I
thing.
do.
No, very, very true.
right.
Yeah, I'm always confident, bro.
You
I'm
do that
super
as well.
confident.
You do that as well.
Confident or
Why?
crazy?
A little bit of both. It's peppered with craziness,
No, but why is that? Because you know who you are,
Yeah.
and when you act, you don't. It's purely you.
That's
and
it, yeah.
that's a special thing about
And
you.
I
You
don't
speak
filter
your mind.
myself. It's easier just to be myself than to keep up with making these
Exactly.
lies all the time, man.
And that's where
If you don't like me, you don't like me. Tough luck.
and that's how you become magnetic, because you don't want anything. When you don't want anything, you're more
Yes.
attractive.
Yeah.
Yeah.
When you're not looking for approval, you already people want your approval. Now they want to find out, what do you think? Why don't you want anyone else's approval?
Yeah.
That's how you become magnetic. When you're so proud or so
I
aware
I
of
wouldn't
yourself.
say I'm proud
Not
of
proud, but-
myself just yet,
Yeah.
but I'm comfortable in my own
Yes.
skin at this point with
You
who
own,
I am.
no,
yeah.
you own yourself.
Yeah.
And a lot of people don't own who they are, and that means your
I'm
crevices.
also the friend you don't put on loudspeaker when we're on the phone.
Exactly, exactly. So I think that's
Yeah.
that was basically
Yeah,
just
that's
my
it.
point on that. Yeah,
I love that.
That's how you
Yeah.
become more magnetic. It's just owning your thing.
And then-
taking
Yeah.
up space.
Yeah.
Taking up space, literally.
Yeah, and being comfortable.
Yeah. Yeah.
And as we about to wrap up, Men's Mental Health Month, and I know you're a part of that as well. You touched on the fact that you work with men and women. But I just want to know, with men's mental health, for someone like me who comes from a place where people are depression and all these things, it's just get over it, what have you seen that destroys men the most? Men who come at it like that I'm a man, I cannot have a mental issue or so on and so forth.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think what doesn't help them is that they're so hard on themselves. Like, actually, men ultimately just need a safe space to be with themselves and all of who they are. And I feel like that's their responsibility to create that space for them. Yes, it is beautiful to have a woman that feels like that, because that will actually help a man's nervous system to also feel
where do we
safe
found them?
space.
Can you point us in the right direction?
shot.
Yeah, but
Because not where we shop.
but they'll only come after we work on ourselves. Like, those experiences will come, but like, ultimately, it's okay and it's perfectly normal that men, or in general women, will go through depression or go through suicidal thoughts or anything like that. Like, but it's
So basically what men do on a daily basis, guys.
Right.
Don't lie, we've all had those thoughts. Maybe not suicidal, but like, yes, I just want to quit my job.
Yeah.
You know
Go
what?
live in the bush in
To
the
be
Transkei,
honest,
bro.
to be honest, with majority of my friends, one of them have at some point been like, "Dude, what is the point of anything?" You know.
yeah.
Nah,
And I
bruh,
think
but I wouldn't go out.
you
that
know
way.
what?
I
No,
know how
you know,
important life
yes,
is, bruh.
but like
Especially
you have
because I got children.
I think
Life
the
is
difference.
life is expensive.
That
bruh.
ripple
Yeah.
effect.
The fact that
as
we're
well.
here, bruh, you're already wealthy. You're already good. You're already at a good
My
place.
bank account
You know what I mean?
disagrees.
But I think
That's
the
how
difference is
I look at
how you entertain that thought. I think
Yes,
it's okay
yeah.
to have that thought. You know, it's okay to be at that point, but it's how you get back and you're like, okay, cool. Yeah, it's shitty, but like, okay, how am I moving forward?
Yeah.
You know? Like, it's okay, and that's what guys need to understand, is that it's okay to feel that way, not feel
Why are you looking
worthy,
at me when you're
whatever.
saying this?
because you the
Yeah.
culprit.
He looks at me every time he says about feelings. Like, come on.
No.
feelings, bro.
No. We just
I'm-
speak.
I'm
we
too
speak,
old. I'm a
no,
lost
look,
cause,
look.
bruh.
We speak more often, so I identify you better.
Yeah.
I need Jesus. Jesus works miracles.
He does. He really does. He really
Yeah.
does. So I think that's what's important. People need to be okay and feeling that way, and then being able to get back and also communicate with your friends. I think that's a
Yeah.
great thing, and that we've created that space where we can be like, dude,
Yeah.
I
I
am-
feel safe talking to you, I must admit.
you know, like, dude,
But like, I
Yeah.
won't go to 7-year-old Ryan. I'm maybe like 25-year-old Ryan. That's where I draw the line.
yeah,
I might
but
need a therapist to get to 7, because you're gonna have to
But
break
it's-
down walls, Kazi.
but that's
Yeah.
it's creating those circles. I think that's important.
Yeah, definitely. Because you can't just like I can't just tell, especially guys, to be honest, because they think more logically. So I can't tell them, like actually, I don't even ask many guys like, how are you feeling? It's more about, how are you thinking? What are you thinking right now? And I go in that route first, because a lot of just when I work with men in particular, they don't know how to feel, so they can't answer my question. And then I'm actually not being too much trauma informed in that way. So I'll lean into different aspects, or I'll say to them, where in your area right now are you feeling tense? Are you feeling pain, especially pain? As soon as I know where there's pain in the body, there's something there. Oh, okay, Darren, light, something to work with. Then we'll go into the pain. And then what I'll do is I will ask them, what does the pain look like? What is the color of the pain? Okay, amazing. Deeper and deeper. It's like going through color psychology, going through patterns.
I'm lost
And
there.
then so you instantly,
I don't know that.
and then randomly, I mean, it's the most amazing thing. It's called body wisdom. And it's like, and normally I will work on their body, like I'll just go around, and they will just start talking about stories in their childhood. And I'm just letting them talk whilst I'm doing this, but at the same time, they're going there to cleanse it. So anything, a thought or a story that comes up, it's there to be dissolved, to come to light, so it can release out your body. So that's why, and I do this practice actually
Isn't
a lot.
that what priests are for, though? You go and tell him your problems, and he tunes you.
Yeah, you don't get a massage with it though.
No.
I'm playing, guys. I'm playing with you guys. But I get what you're saying, because
She doesn't do massages.
I know, but she just said she's
Oh,
Body
yeah,
wisdom.
touchy feely. Yeah. She does yoga.
Wait,
But
last week
wait,
he called
wait,
himself a
wait.
bad. Last week he called himself a bad.
I said I was a baddie.
Yeah, you're a baddie. Yes, that's right. But yeah, you're saying.
Yeah, so just, I mean, this is a practice that I actually do, and I get to read the person, meaning how do they think? So I'll ask someone, what are you thinking? What are you feeling?
Let's try this in the field.
Okay, Wolf, what are you thinking? What are you feeling?
What am I thinking?
Okay,
right
so
now?
there we go. That's my answer.
Yeah, because
So
I
no,
already told you I don't have feelings.
Okay, but I mean, but like that was amazing. So meaning, like, and I'll get you to speak, but the fact that you instantly said, "What am I thinking?" I'm like, okay, more logical, more this. This is the
So
type
now
of
you found your angle of communication.
yeah with you.
Okay.
But then oftentimes I will get people, they'll be instantly like, for me, if someone had to say that, oh, I'm feeling like this. So then
Yeah.
that will be more empathy.
Yeah,
It
now
will
you
be
know my
more-
problem lies in my feelings because I'm avoiding that. and going logically.
No,
Wolf
it's-
wants to
That's
diagnose
just
himself.
how. No, but that's just how I would internalize myself. Like, you know, I'm not a doctor, but I'll have a look. You know.
Yeah. But you know, so just with that, like, I wouldn't die. No, I wouldn't die. I would just like I wouldn't diagnose you at all. But it's almost like, and I love this analogy. When you're sitting there, like, let's just say you're in this moment, a blurred picture.
That's actually what I want to say. Feel like.
But my work is to be so curious about you where you become an HD perfect picture. But that requires for me to be exceptionally present, for me to listen to what you're saying and be so curious of who you are. It's not about me, it's about you.
I'm
so as
super
soon as
interesting.
So as soon as you said I am thinking, then I notice, okay, he processes a
Why
lot of
staring at me?
he, like you
I know it's not a dating show, Kazi. I'm just saying I'm interesting.
but like you,
Am I
can,
not?
Where's that slow jam that you guys put on me last time? We need that over that.
She was right. I'm trying to block that up, but anyway,
No,
I'm listening.
No, sorry, like, I'll end it there. But like, it will show me that you process your emotion through logic and through thinking, not necessarily. Maybe your go-to isn't necessarily feeling, but maybe that's something to be worked on. So your ultimate thing is logic, and that's okay. And actually, a lot of doctors have that, a lot of medics as well. But if they can just lean in more into their body and feeling, beautiful. And then it's a different direction. Yeah. But it's nothing to overthink. Like we
Yes, we're gonna need more than one episode to get into
No,
my feelings.
You know what my thing is though. Like everything you've said today, like, and I've also tried my best to kind of like go that route to just figure it out. But you're really really passionate about what you do, and I think you take your time when it comes to like understanding people and your clients and stuff. That's why you don't have anyone coming say, "Hey, I want a refund." But like on behalf of the whole team, first and foremost, I think as the boys we've learned a lot. I think we'll probably talk to the team as well and probably try see if we can have like another session where you come through. You know what I mean? But honestly speaking,
to
everything
get to 7-year-old Ryan.
we're not getting to 7. It's not about
We
7-year-old
need to. That's
Ryan.
the only way I'm gonna heal.
It's
guys.
not about 7-year-old Ryan, but like on behalf of the team, first and foremost, we just want to say thank you so much for taking your time to come through and hang with us and give us
And
a
it's
little
been such a breath of fresh air.
I know, dude.
Did I say hair? I did.
You said air.
I said air. Thank
Yeah,
you.
you said air.
It's been a breath of fresh air having a woman say all the things that we've been asking for.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's very rare to kind of get that understanding. But like you coming through and speaking to us, spending some time with us, kind of like giving us a perspective that we probably is very rare for people unless they go looking for the help type of thing,
Yeah.
So thank you so much for that.
pleasure.
Pleasure.
Benson's gonna slide in your DMs and say, "I need help."
Hey,
No.
Benson doesn't have those problems. I have other problems, guys. But yeah, and just everything you're doing, we wish you nothing but the best. And I think as well, gentlemen, after hearing it from a woman, I think it's something, what I've learned is that it's no longer a thing that we can just brush off.
Yeah.
I think also understanding women as well.
Why are you
with
looking at
us.
me?
Yeah,
Why does
because
everyone look at me when it comes to the emotional
You've just
stuff?
got culprit
And
issues, bro. I'm not saying anything to you.
I'm the
Yeah.
bad guy in everybody's story. It's fine.
Yeah, 100%. You Samuel L. Jackson play the same part forever.
Yeah, forever.
But like you've given me an understanding as well, like on the way women think, and it's not from just a woman. It's someone that you work with, women and men.
Yeah.
So thank you so much.
Pleasure.
Thank you so much for coming through, and I think we'll have another one.
I would love
Another
another
one.
one.
Yeah,
I think we haven't gone through half of the stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I do want to say, like, yeah, like, because the one main thing I wanted to point out, especially for Men's Mental Health Week, is like, really, men are medicine. This is just from my perspective, because especially men that just take ownership of themselves and build awareness and actually doing the work to be more loving towards them, like, they can literally, it's so beautiful to have that. Like, I just want to say that the fact that men are so devoted, or can be so devoted to life and to their partner, for a woman, it's exceptionally healing and beautiful. So yeah, that's why I celebrate men. Like, I've been like, it's ultimately comes down to our belief system. So I've constantly been training my brain to, like, I love men, and to keep saying that. And I feel like I just want to inspire so many more women as well, because then you are going to attract that men. If you're operating from that belief system, you're going to attract that. Yeah.
Wow, because the more women that think like you, the better life's gonna be.
And for you, like, for Wolf, like, and Benson, like, how amazing is that you can control your own thoughts in your own mind to create.
Is that not normal though, or is that just how men are?
No,
I know some men can't process all their thoughts because there's too much noise in their head. Just like me, that's why I smoke weed to quieten the noise, you know. But it's like compartmentalizing things. For me, if I've got a shit ton of problems, which ones can I actually fix? Which ones can't I? The ones I can't, cheers. The ones I can, I'm going to attack. And then maybe when I'm finished with those, I'm in a place to get to those ones.
Yeah.
You know, the way woman is like, I've got so much to do. And then it's a panic attack. I just think that's because they're so in touch with their emotions that sometimes the emotions take control.
Yeah, definitely.
And explode.
That's why.
And we just can't handle that.
Yeah, that's why it ultimately comes down to self-regulation, with a woman controlling her nervous system, like being in touch with her body. And then with regards to, like, what you were saying, how amazing and empowering for you, like sitting right here, both of you, or just anyone and men in general, to actually reframe or get in touch, actually write down, what are all your beliefs revolving around women? This is if you want to attract a beautiful woman.
I can write a book
conscious
today.
Okay.
Your beliefs, not your,
Yes,
not your
exactly.
problems.
My beliefs, it's going to be a step-by-step guide on how to get a woman in line.
It's a PowerPoint.
Okay,
I'm
but
kidding,
like,
ladies. I'm kidding, unless you like it like that.
so literally look at your beliefs and see which ones are not healthy, okay? Because the ones that are not healthy, that's running your life. That's what you're attracting, okay? So how can you rewire your own brain, your own neural pathways to then create a different way of thinking? And then you're ultimately going to create that. However, this is what I've done recently, and it was literally life-changing. So I wrote down 2 pages, actually 3 pages, of literally my dream person, but in detail. Dream man, like everything of what he's about, even what he looks like, this and this and this and this.
Can you describe his looks? We just need to eliminate some people in the room.
Right.
No, you don't have to go into details, don't worry.
But it was like, I literally sat in a coffee shop, and I took myself on a date, because let me just be in the energetics of this guy that I want, like even how does he communicate? How does he treat me? How does he spoil me? Like in so much detail. And then on the other page, I said, well, what type of woman would he want if it was a man like this? Mm-hmm. And what type of woman do I need to become to attract that? And then I wrote it down. And I was like, okay.
I've got some work to do.
I've got some work to do.
Yeah.
For example, and I'll give you just a quirky example. On my list, he has a clean car, like clean car. Then I looked on my list.
One for me.
No, but on my list, guess what? I never had a clean car. So I looked at myself and I'm like, Darren, you need to go and sort out your energy here, because you can't attract a guy if you've got so much in
Women
your car.
don't care about their cars like men
That's just
do.
a very small example.
No, 100%.
That's a big stereotype that's true. Women do not look after their cars like we do.
Of course. No, well, bruh. but like, I like what you said. Like, men can be like medicine for women and vice versa.
Yeah.
That is something I definitely take with me after this interview. But as you can see, Chad, there, the guy behind the camera,
We're about
producer.
20 minutes
He's
over.
been wrapping us up. But like I was saying before, Ryan took us back into conversation.
It was supposed to be my closing.
Yeah, it
argument,
was supposed to
but-
be. Yeah. But
so
like,
keep going.
I'm not gonna repeat myself too much. We are really grateful that you came through.
Thank you.
We want to have more conversations like this. So hopefully we'll get you back on the show.
Perfect. Yeah.
And have a lot more fun. But I think NQ wants to say something before we go. You better not moonwalk.
I do. No. It's a very. I think it hasn't been covered enough. How do you navigate being in that space where you're being vulnerable with men, as well as being very attractive? You know, because I think that it does play as a dynamic.
Yeah.
That you have to look at.
Casanova.
Definitely.
So how do you navigate that in your profession, especially getting vulnerable with men? And
supposed to be.
yeah, no, let's go. I'm doing it for the prize.
He
Let's
That's
go.
a very good question.
It's a very
It's a
huge
very
question,
necessary
and I
Okay,
think
He's a
Let's hear the
professional.
answer.
and
Let's
he
hear the-
wants to know
let's hear the answer.
yeah,
Yeah. I mean, thank you for bringing that up because it is something I've had to deal with a lot of.
Yes.
And it can create a bit of an unsafe space just in
Yeah.
general. But for me, it all takes responsibility of my boundaries. And so what I've done is that if it's mainly online, if I do work with them, also has to be the right person. They have to qualify for magic, to be honest. Like they have to be at a certain level of awareness for me to work with them, so I know it's not superficial and to get something out of it, because I can catch that very quickly in a phone
Come
call.
on, -1.
But it's like if they're willing to go really, really, really deep, they will show it to me. They will be consistent. If I have to do, like I do rent out a yoga studio, and I have done a lot of sessions there where it's around someone, and I create that safe container. But also ultimately, I need to create that container for myself to then hold them and hold the boundaries and to tell them straight up, like, listen, what is your intentions? This and this and this and this. I don't work with a lot of men. It'll probably, like, I've worked with about 4 in total over the last 3 years, but it's because I not only choose wisely, but I will stop if it doesn't feel good. So I'll take ownership of that. But also, yeah, I mean, I work with a lot more women.
Self-awareness.
Yeah, but I work with majority of women, but I don't want to ever not work. To be honest, God brings you the people that He wants you to help.
Yeah.
So if I've had a message from a guy that wants to help me, wants to work with me for his integration process for like a few months. And he's been in my field, meaning like he's been looking at my things for over 4 years now. And I've worked with him in different ways. And it's amazing that I know that, like, yeah, God's got him in my field for a reason. And so I've got to trust that.
yeah. So my question was just not entirely just your profession, but for people that are attractive and that are in the workforce. You know,
Well, I don't
and I
count,
think
I'm
you,
not
you
attractive,
well you did hit it on the head. You did hit it on the head. You did discuss it
Yeah.
for in your perspective, and I think it did give some pointers on how to navigate that space.
Yeah.
Because I think that happens very often. People that are attractive but add a lot of value, but they have to now overcome that and
Staring at
work
me while
around
he's
that.
saying this.
Yeah.
You know, yeah.
And I
It's
think
like he's staring into
just the
my
last
soul,
thing
yeah.
there, sorry, because that's a really good topic. I think it's also not putting up people on a pedestal.
Yes.
Like and I think that's where the attraction comes in, because you
100%.
put them there, and then you're like, oh, you look up to them, and they've got so much value, and then it's there's desire that comes in. Where actually, if you just see them for a human being, and they like just here, and you see them as equal, actually the desire kind of fizzles out. But also it's getting really honest, especially if with the male and female dynamic.
Yes.
It's getting really honest, straight up saying, listen, any feelings, and this is just what I've experienced in the past, any feelings that do come up during this process, it's actually got nothing to do with me. It's got everything to do what's been activated in you through this journey. I am just the mirror, and I am just the person giving you the tools.
I've been preaching the same thing to both ex-wives. I might make you upset, but the way you react to that is all on you.
100%. 100%.
Yeah.
And guys,
Yes.
I'm learning so much. I want to stay. I want to listen. but like showbiz.
Our
always
Rockamomas
says-
is getting cold. Let's chat.
Yes, your chips.
yeah, Rockamomas. But guys, thank you, Darren. Thank you so
Pleasure.
much.
Thank you, both of you. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you for coming through. We are definitely going to have a conversation about having you back because I think there's a lot more to unpack about this.
Yeah, you can see NQ's got a list of questions coming.
Yeah, NQ's going to be sitting this side next time.
Yeah, we got him on camera. I'll go sit
Hey,
that
listen,
side because I don't have feelings.
No. I think you add a lot of value. I think you
Can
add
we
a
wrap
lot
this
of
show
value.
up, ladies?
Even from this angle on the left.
Can we wrap this show up?
Okay, let's go. Let's go.
Okay,
Gee
goodbye.
whiz. This is the 5th time I'm saying cheers to you guys. But thank you to you guys for tuning in. And
Thanks, Rockamomas.
And tune in next week again. Right? I don't know what's going on with Ryan, but Wolf. Labrador.
Yeah,
I
who's
don't know
Ryan?
which one it
Who's
is today.
Ryan?
There's a lot of characters here. But shout out to everyone who keeps watching. Please come through next week and watch another show with us. It's gonna be another vibe. It's gonna be dope. It's gonna be lit. And to the crew, to the team, to our guest, thank you very much.
Thank you.
And we're gonna make this happen again next week. And you know what it is.
Don't be a hater. We'll
Peace.
see you later.